One and
Hey, Daddy, this is the man of the champions, Bill Fonzie Alfonso, giving a shout out to
something else.
something else, Daddy.
This is Nickel Matata, Great Warrior Wolf, and you are listening to Something Else.
I'm Tony Cini, and you're listening to something else.
Hey everybody, it's Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, and you are listening to Something Else with Arya.
Degenerates and reprobates, welcome to episode number 211 of Something Else. Feast your ear holes on this week's episode as we take a look at Mid-South Wrestling and World Class Championship Wrestling from July 14th, 1984. My name is Arya, and joining me as always is the Bronson Pin Show to my Mark Lynn Davis. It's Trey. Trey, how the hell you doing today?
Doing good. I'm trying to remember the name of that subreddit that you can post like clothes you see in TV shows and people help you find them. Because I got to know where Boyd Pierce got that fucking blazer.
I I don't know where he gets any of his clothes. I mean, I think we'd be going down a rabbit hole if we find where he gets one of his jackets. We'd be like, oh, here's Boyd Pierce's entire wardrobe.
I always wish that I could pull off stylish clothing like that, but my body is weird shapes. I don't look good in anything.
Now, I know you're not a fan of fake sports, but there was an NBA reporter. I mean, he did other sports too, but he's most remembered from the NBA, named Craig Sager, who passed away, almost a decade ago at this point. And he was known for wearing very loud clothing and very loud jackets, especially while on the sidelines.
It, I kind of like loud clothing, and maybe I don't do it enough personally, but it's like I like some of the shit that Cornette wears, like especially as he's trying to, like as he figures out how to be fucking obnoxious about it. But then like I think a couple of weeks ago on Smoky Mountain, he had this plum colored suit that was just gorgeous.
Oh yeah, just because it's a loud suit doesn't mean it can't be gorgeous.
Yeah.
Um, so I've been thinking, we're at 211 episodes, and I've been using the theme that we dubbed the Chevy Silverado theme song since episode zero. Um, you think it might be time to find a new song?
I lost you after you think. There we go. You coming back in. Come on.
You think it might be time to consider a new song?
Going in and out.
I think Trey is just really disappointed that I'm
Hey,
even bringing up the subject.
okay, I'm sorry. You said, do you think, and then you cut out, so I heard none of that.
I don't want you to think ever, apparently. Um,
Okay.
do you think the time has come to consider getting a new theme song?
Ah,
Or
well,
is the
who are
Chevy
we gonna
Silverado song so iconic that
who
we got to stick with it?
it is kind of iconic, but then like if we do a new one, like what? Who are we gonna get to do new drops?
I didn't think I was going to replace those. I just replaced the Chevy
Oh, replace
Silverado
the song.
song. Yeah.
Well, what about a better Chevy Silverado song? What about that Like a Rock?
Well,
Oh,
for
like a rock. You remember that from those
now,
commercials
now
in the early
for yeah,
90s?
yeah. Now keep in mind, this is not really the Chevy Silverado song, but my former co-host and I used to joke that it sounded like a song that would air as part of a Chevy Silverado commercial.
Hmm. But maybe I should make the theme for the Oh My God cast the theme from the random Ford commercials that sometimes air.
Okay. Uh, one time on the old podcast, my brother was talking about some crappy show that his kids watched, which I mean, covers a whole bunch of shit. But it's like they were like 3, 4, 5 years old at the time. So I'm sure we could find some awful TV show that's watched by children and play that instead to drive you crazy.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I don't know if it would really drive you crazy because you don't have kids, so it's not like I'd be like tuning you up by playing a song that like drives you nuts on a daily basis.
Yeah, I don't have kids, but I have cats. So I still get the experience of saying things like, please don't lick that and don't hiss at your little brother to tiny freeloaders who live in my house.
Um, I'll tell you what, I want cats until you tell me that they're obsessed with watching Caillou. Then no more. No more cats.
I for a minute I forgot what Caillou was, and I thought you were mispronouncing kaiju, like Kaiju Big Battle, where they do like the wrestling version of the fucking Super Sentai Mecha Battle. You remember that shit?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, that like I
Um,
think it would be cool if I had cats who were obsessed with watching Kaiju Big Battle.
what if we had Caillou competing in Kaiju Big Battle?
Oh yeah, Caillou versus fucking the Thunder Megazord. Let's do it.
I'm sure he's not actually in Kaiju Big Battle, but we could have Caillou versus the Mecha Mummy.
Oh yeah, so much money. I think Mecha didn't Mecha Mummy do fuck Kaiju Big Battle?
I don't know. I didn't really watch Kaiju Big Battle, so I just knew it
I only
existed.
heard about it. I only heard
Yeah.
about it, but I think Mecha Mummy was from there.
I mean, it would make sense, you know.
Yeah.
My the thing I'm most disappointed by is that the two matches between Mecha Mummy and Minoru Suzuki have disappeared off the internet.
Oh no, are they?
Yeah. Um, so if you're out there and you're listening to this, including if you're my co-host and you have copies of them, you must upload them somewhere, at least long enough for me to download them.
I'll put up a flare and see what I can find for us.
Sounds good. All right. Um, we've got quite the episode of Mid-South. You know what I realized just now? Because I don't know why, the date of the show is July 14th, 1984. Something kept telling me there was something about that date, and I could not figure it out until right this second. It's Black Saturday.
Oh, oh, I always think that was earlier in the year for some reason. I
Well,
always think it was like February.
well, that's you might think that because Vince bought the company in like April, but Ole
Okay,
took him
yeah,
to
maybe.
court, and it took 3 months for it to basically either Ole throw up his hands and say what the fuck ever, or for the court to say, this is a legal purchase. Too bad, so sad.
I gotta tell you, Ole Anderson was a curmudgeonly son of a bitch, but he predicted the need of future times when he said "fuck Linda" and "fuck you."
Oh Lord. My favorite was when they approached him to do the Four Horsemen DVD, the one where they buried Paul Roma. And he was like, "Will I get paid to do this?" And they're like, "Well, of course you will." And he's like, "Well, then no, thank you, because I said I would never take a penny off McMahon."
Oh, Ole, you old son of a bitch.
Yes. Did you remember the story about that Four Horsemen DVD with Roma? And I guess it shouldn't be that hard to realize how easily manipulated people are. But apparently, they're much like how there's deleted scenes from the Bret Hart DVD where everyone buried him for the Montreal thing. There's deleted scenes of the Four Horsemen DVD where Flair and Arn put Roma over, and then they were like, "Okay, we need some sort of controversy out of this because no one is saying a mean thing about anybody, not even Mongo." So they, I forget how. I think they lied to Roma first and told him that Flair and Arn buried him, and then Roma went off and did his thing, calling Arn the Pillsbury Doughboy and all that shit. And then they showed it to Flair and Arn, or they manipulated Flair and Arn into believing that Roma said shit about them first and then showed that to Roma. I forget which way it went, but yeah, somebody in that group, probably Paul Roma, because come on, I don't think maybe Flair, but I don't think Arn Anderson is that gullible. But somebody was gullible enough to believe that the other person buried them without seeing proof of it.
Who would say anything bad about Mongo?
But because Mongo was a shitty wrestler.
He was, but he was a great Mongo.
Yes, he was.
Like,
Literally,
like,
and I know we're prone to hyperbole and are prone to like making weird statements, but nobody could have been Steve Mongo McMichael than Steve Mongo McMichael.
if Mongo had become a better worker, it would have ruined him.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like it's much like how I kind of like Brian Adams. It's like I kind of liked Steve McMichael because I liked the wrestlers who were different. And it's like it's why like if you asked me who one of my favorite wrestlers ever was, I'd say 2006 to 2008 Great Khali when he was still a fucking giant monster. It's like no, he was not having 5-star matches, but he was different in an era that everyone's gimmick for a while
Yeah.
was pro wrestler. So it's like yeah, I love that shit. So it's like yeah, it's like
There's
when
a
I was 12 years old, fucking Rush and Adam Bomb and Mongo. Like, yeah, I marked out watching these big motherfuckers beat each other up.
Hey, I'm like a little bit younger and started watching wrestling a little bit later, but fucking 13-year-old me loved Chronic.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah, I loved Chronic in 2000. I'm like, well, I take
Yeah.
Crush and Adam Bomb and put them together. Like, that's my team.
Yeah. There's
And
a
it's like, yeah,
fucking
fine,
it's I think it
fine.
I'm sorry.
Uh,
Go
I was
ahead.
like, fine. They're APA ripoffs with, a hint of Rob Van Dam in there. So
Yeah.
what?
I think it's one of the Mongo Goldberg matches, and I don't think it's Starcade. I think it's the first Thunder. Mongo does what I guess you could technically call a tope suicida. That's the most ugly, out of control thing you've ever seen, and it's fucking awesome.
There is a match at Road Wild 98, Brian Adams versus Mongo. It is a negative 4-star match, but it is a tremendous negative 4-star match.
Okay, if they put that on the WWE Vault, that's a spot show.
Uh, just that match, the whole 5 minutes.
I don't know.
Hon-
Maybe those
hon-
we gotta do some
Honestly,
fucking. We
that
haven't done a
that
spot show in so long.
I know it's because I suddenly had a life for a while, and well, we saw how well that worked out.
Well, I'm glad we
Um,
got past that. I'm kidding.
yes, I, uh, I am too, to be perfectly fucking honest with you. I am too. That Road Wild 98 show, like that might set records for like the some of the worst shit ever. Although Fall Brawl beat it the next month. But Road Wild 98, you know, again, no shame to any of these people, but it's like Public Enemy versus Alex Wright into Disco Inferno. Meng versus the Barbarian. Mongo versus Brian Adams. The 9-man NWO Battle Royal featuring Goldberg. By the way, that Battle Royal, they had been like hyping up for like 3 months. And then because Goldberg had nothing to do, they stuck him in the match and had him win. Um, and then
Okay.
that was the Jay Leno main event. It was Hogan and Bischoff versus DDP and Leno to the point. And Leno, he had like he couldn't do anything to the point that Kevin Eubanks had to come in and give the diamond cutter to Bischoff to win the match.
I yeah, but so I don't think I have ever seen Road Wild '98, but I remember a long time ago, like the early 2000s. I was in a video store in like a different town, so I
Hmm.
couldn't like rent everything I wanted to. And I
Hmm.
looked at the Road Wild '98 VHS tape, and it had the match listing, and it just was so silly that it popped me. Battle Royal: NWA Wolfpack versus NWA Hollywood versus Goldberg.
That's exactly what it was. And
Yes,
the only person Goldberg didn't eliminate was Kevin Nash because Nash eliminated himself to go after Scott Hall.
of course.
Yeah. Um, I actually always had my bone of contention in the Death of WCW book when RD and Bryan said that that somebody else other than Goldberg should have won to set up a feud with Goldberg, which I can understand the idea of that, but for those of you motherfuckers who bitch about Kevin Nash breaking the streak, you're telling me you would have been okay with the streak being broken in a fucking battle royal? Because this was not the
Okay,
Samoa Joe TNA streak or the Christian Cage TNA streak where you could lose triple threat matches and still be undefeated. Goldberg did not lose anything. That was
okay.
until actually, that's a lie. Like the last month, they severely fucked it up. But before the last month, he did not lose no matter what type of match he was in.
You alluded to something there that it rang a bell. It set off a buzzer in my head, and I don't know if I'd ever heard anybody talk about this specific talk. How much of the decline of WCW do you think was the lack of strong challengers for Goldberg?
I think that it had a decent amount to do with it because people like don't remember this, but if you go back and look, like they had set up Hogan with like three or four, maybe even five strong babyface challengers for the summer and fall of '98. That like to the point where it's like when Goldberg won, there was nobody for him to wrestle because Hogan wasn't going to lose to him again. And if you look on the heel side, there was no strong number two heel. Like I can't even tell you who the hell it would have been. Like maybe
I mean,
Giant.
the best match of his fucking title reign was the babyface match with DDP.
Yeah, which was one fucking amazing match.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like
But even like,
and this is the in the days before like I mean, you still had occasional matches where people kicked out of finishers, but it's not nearly to the degree that it is now. So when Paige hit the diamond cutter and the place lost their shit, it's because oh my God, Paige just beat the streak.
yeah, yeah. And even even when he wrestled the Giant and Sting, like they weren't presented like big threats. Which the Giant was on his way out, and fuck that era of Sting, whatever. But like, fucking, it's the Giant and Sting. The only people who were credible challengers were Page and Nash.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like, and it's like I'm not defending the finger poke of doom, but I've always defended the end of the streak, and I've defended the idea of what the thought processes was, because again, they did not have any strong heels, and the thought process was, okay, we're gonna make this elite group of heels, Hogan, Nash, Luger, Steiner, and maybe Bagwell or somebody else, and the point is Goldberg's going to go through each and every one of them and then get back to Hogan, which is still a good idea. It fell apart really quickly for a number of reasons. But yeah, it's
I will.
like outside of the actual finger poke of doom, which I don't know how you could have gotten around that to still get to the same point. I still say there was nothing wrong with the idea of Goldberg versus an elite NWO. The problem is injuries, rehab, and Goldberg sitting out due to contract demands took care of that.
I will forever maintain that the cattle prod finish was fucking brilliant. It's just everywhere they went from
Yes,
there.
yes. Like I that was a great fucking finish. It's like, okay, how do you beat this unbeatable motherfucker? You know?
With
And
the
here we're
same
set.
fucking thing you tased a bull with.
Yes. And here's the thing too. It's like I can't point to a point where it just went off kilter, but Bam Bam Bigelow, that first 6 weeks or so that he was in after he jumped from ECW, that was a fucking match I wanted to see was Goldberg versus Bam Bam because they really protected Bam Bam there for like 6 weeks. But then, like, I think there's might have been because they held off the match too long because like they didn't wrestle until February, and but so by the time February came along, it's like okay, this is a 4 minute semi-main event squash match. It's like Bam Bam, he's not dead, but he's back down the card at this point.
I'm mad at Bam Bam Bigelow right now because he fucked up my WCW Tag Team Title Tournament in Pro Wrestling Sim.
Oh Lord. Did I ever tell you um why my best friend at the time would not see the live action Garfield movie from like 2003, 2004?
Why?
Because, and him and I were both big Garfield fans. So it wasn't like, oh, he just didn't like Garfield or whatever. Like, no, him and I both also loved Kim Possible. And Breckin Meyer, who's the actor who played John Arbuckle in that Garfield movie, he played one of the characters on Kim Possible. He was like one of those people who were Kim's boyfriend that wasn't Ron, so they don't really count. But anyway, my friend read a fan fiction online where Breckin Meyer's Kim Possible character did something awful to Kim, and I forget it was sexually assault. I forget like whatever it was. The point
Oh
is,
God.
the TV character did something mean in a fan fiction, and so he refused to watch the movie what the actor was in, even though it was a fan fiction that he read, and not like something that either the real actor did nor did they do on the TV show. So it was not in canon in any way. And so he refused to watch the Garfield movie because of that. And I'm going to
You know,
bet if I
I
reached out
was.
to him right now in 2025, he'd probably still tell you he refuses to watch that because of Breckin Meyer.
I'm trying to remember if I ever saw that movie. I think I did.
I don't think I ever did, just out of solidarity.
You know, so I was going through Facebook memories today, and I saw a picture of my cat Bella, our top cat these days,
Hmm.
and it was like she was like it was after we'd had her for 6 months, and I was commenting on how long she had gotten. So then I was looking at Astro Peach, and I'm like, well, fucking by Halloween he'll be ready to be Garfield. That was the tie back to
Oh,
Garfield.
there you go. Um, I guess we are really doing our best to avoid the subject. Oh Lord.
I think it's just what we do now. I
Yeah,
don't know. We don't do this on fucking Thursday as much, but like Tuesday, I think it's
which
because we haven't talked. We haven't talked in like, we've talked,
yeah,
but we haven't talk. So we have to
yeah.
talk about some kind of dumb bullshit for 30 minutes.
Like we'll talk about like we'll record Thursday show tomorrow. So by that point it's like,
Yeah.
okay, we've talked now for 30 minutes today, so we're good. Then tomorrow we'll
Yeah.
only have one show to record. Will be we got to talk about this and nothing else for the next hour and a half.
And we'll somehow
Oh Lord.
manage to spend an hour and 45 minutes covering a 50-minute show.
Exactly. That's how we do things around this place.
Hmm.
Um all right. So Mid-South Wrestling, July 14th, 1984. Let's go to the intro with JR and Bill Watts. I guess someone realized that Joel Watts sucked.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Mid-South Wrestling. I'm Jim Ross, and I'll be your host this hour for another exciting hour of Mid-South Wrestling action. And we have a lot of things to talk about. Cowboy Bill Watts, the president of Mid-South Sports, is here with me, and Bill Matchmaker Grizzly Smith has put together a super card headline by a great main event, Sonny King against Krusher Kruschev. But we got a lot of other things to talk about, too.
That's right. You got a North American title match, Magnum TA against Ernie Ladd. Of course, there's a lot of confusion right now. A lot of things happening. Ernie Ladd is griping he wanted the title match to be the first match on the Mid-South television show today, and he's squawking and saying he wants plenty of time to beat Magnum his own way. Ernie Ladd, again, a master of psychology. I noticed that Jim Cornette had enticed Dr. Death, Steve Williams, over, and they've got a tag match scheduled, and Steve Williams and Hercules Hernandez as part. Well, to heck with it. Let's go to the ring. Boyd Pierce up there. Maybe we'll straighten this out. This should be a wild hour today.
Is it just me, like, or is like Bill Watts like not really seemed as into commentary as he used to be? Maybe it's because I guess he doesn't have to carry the load anymore. Because JR obviously, I hope you're sitting down for this. JR is really good at commentating. Um,
Really?
but it's like, yeah, I know, right? But it's like he's definitely hasn't seemed as into it as usual. He's not as spirited. And honestly, I think right now JR and Boyd might be the ideal team, but who would ring announce? Because apparently Reeser has disappeared off the face of the earth.
Why can't Joel ring announce?
Well, because if he's ring announcing, he might want to referee too.
I don't know. I don't think that Boyd and Ross like quite work as a combo. I don't know. Boyd is like, because when it's Boyd and Watts, it's pretty much just Boyd introduces the show and then turns it over to Bill. And it's like,
here's the
I think
president of
Boyd
Mid-South
is better
Sports,
as a
Bill
ring
Watts.
announcer. I think Boyd is better as a ring announcer.
I do. I just miss like the JR interviews because like JR has great facial expressions with all this stuff. While when Boyd interviews Jim Cornette, he's got great facial expressions because like you cannot make me believe that Boyd Pierce does not hate that man.
Oh, I bet. I bet. I wonder what Cornette has said about Boyd Pierce. I gotta look that up.
And so we'll get to this a little bit later, but they mentioned that Sonny King versus Krusher Kruschev is today's TV main event, while also saying almost in passing, oh, and also the North American title's on the line today, Magnum TA versus Ernie Ladd. And I'm like, why is Sonny King versus Krusher Kruschev the main event if we have a North American title match?
Normally I try to play devil's advocate and rationalize this, but this was dumb. The show stuck a crawl up my ass and it's still there.
We're to give you a spoiler alert for those out there listening. For those who remember the Bryan and Vinny Nitro reviews where they would do a finish report at the end of the show, I have a finish report at the end of the show that I don't have music though. Maybe I should find some, but yeah. There's
I have
going
a
to be
summary of a finish report. Yeah.
Actually, even if I threw in World Class didn't make it any better. All right. So the opening match, we're going to go to the intro here with Jim Cornette because the opening match is Steve Williams and Hercules Hernandez versus the champion of television, Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, and Jim Duggan. Let's go to the intro of the match now.
This event, one fall with a 10-minute time limit, a tag team match. Introducing first, in the ring, the corner to my right.
Wait just a minute, Boyd Pierce. Wait just a minute. You know, everybody knows that I've had just a little bit of a problem lately with Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Terry Taylor. And I thought seriously about having the Midnight Express take care of that problem. But I decided that they were the Mid-South Tag Team Champions, and Duggan and Taylor don't deserve to have a match with them, even if it's not for the title. So I got a couple of men who have no love lost for those two either. First of all, a man who has no love lost certainly for Terry Taylor, and secondly, a man who's chomping at the bits to get at Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And I'm talking about first, at 275 pounds from the University of Oklahoma, Steve Dr. Death Williams. And at 260 pounds, the most awesome athlete in wrestling, Hercules Hernandez.
Now, I guess this hasn't really been, flushed out yet. Is Jim Cornette now the manager of Dr. Death Steve Williams?
Yeah, that was ambiguous, wasn't it? It made it sound like he could have just been, I don't know.
He could have just been accepting a payoff this week from Mama Cornette.
Yeah, I just can't imagine Dr. Death hanging out with the Midnight Express. That's just never going to fucking happen. Never going to work.
They aren't going to be besties?
Yeah, Doc is not going to be the only person that they consider an actual member of the Midnight Express.
Now, I wrote this down, and it was a typo, not me demeaning the more muscular member of the team. But I wrote the crowd was not cheering Jim Cornette's intro of Jercules. Because you heard them cheer when,
By the way, this was
anyway,
the point. Boyd's blazer has to be seen to be believed, and if you want to see it, go to @Arya and Trae on Twitter because I posted a screen cap. The screen cap it's Boyd in the right side of the frame, and then kind of in the middle, almost toward the left, is Hercules standing looking forward, and then there's Doc and Cornette over the side. I'm drawing attention to Boyd Pierce's blazer, and Uncle Dave quote treats me to talk about how he has never seen someone on steroids as much as Hercules Hernandez is on steroids right here.
I think Dave is. Remember a few weeks ago when we were threatening to be sued by everybody under the sun? I think Dave is taking up for that one here.
I don't think Hercules is suing too many people these days.
Or the estate of Hercules Hernandez.
Did he have an
Um,
estate?
I assume he would. Everyone has an estate, no matter how big or small it is. Oh my God, the number of fucking times I hear that. It's like, when you tell people, it's like, okay, your loved one didn't have any beneficiary, so it goes through the estate. Well, they didn't have an estate. I'm like, like it's just the legal term for it. Like when you die, you have an estate. Well, they didn't have much money. They don't have an estate. I'm like, listen to me. Go to the courthouse and they'll explain it to you. But you need blah 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 blah. Well, they didn't have an estate. I'm like, okay, then whatever you want to call it, that's what they have. But here's what you need to
Okay,
do. Go to the courthouse, yada yada yada.
my version of that is people who, when you're having a discussion and then you start to point out and you say, well, your argument, blah, blah, blah. And they say, I'm not arguing. Well, we're not having a conversation because you're not smart enough to talk to me.
Uh, so by the way, in addition to the North American title match, I would think this would have been a more appropriate TV main event than Sonny King versus Krusher Kruschev. And I wrote that before Sonny King versus Krusher Kruschev.
Yeah, don't want to spoil it, but this was the best thing on the show.
Well,
best match on the show.
Oh, this is the best match on the show, and it was the best thing on the show. We'll discuss things later on. So Williams notably did not have the Medal of Television. And Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, got out wrestled by Dr. Death. The heels double teamed Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, in the corner. Duggan got the hot tag and ran wild, and Hercules Cornette tripped Duggan, and Duggan traced him around the ring, in the ring, out of the ring, and to the back for the disqualification. We then got a 2-on-1 on Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, and Duggan made the save with the chair. Duggan needs a better partner.
Duggan does need a better partner. This was, yeah. Terry Taylor,
at this point,
kind of a bitch.
At this point, though, who would be his partner?
Fuck, who's left?
I'd say Dog, but again, where the countdown is on, he is not here much longer.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we'll figure that out. We'll go down the babyface roster because I'm starting to think they have to turn somebody. Because I guess Magnum TA, but Magnum TA is your North American heavyweight champion, at least until the end of this episode, possibly. But overall, even though Terry Taylor is a little bitch, this was a fine little match. You know, certainly a good TV match.
Yeah. You know, Stars having a substantial match that furthers ongoing storylines. Good wrestling TV. And then it was the DQ because we can have things nice, but we can't have them that nice.
Yes. And a run-in for a disqualification. Okay. Up next, we had Budrow versus Steve Brinson. If I knew how noteworthy this match would end up being by the end of the show, I would have written more than Buddy won with the pendulum elbow.
I wrote that the bell is hard to hear, but they sorted it out. It was like the first two matches. It was like they had somebody different ringing the bell, and they were just tapping it once.
Which is funny because the bell ringer is, or not Boyd, but Jim. It's whoever
See,
is the lead commentator.
That's what I was thinking, but then it was weird, like, because the first two matches you couldn't hear the fucking bell, but then they got, I don't know, maybe he didn't have the hammer, like, so he just had to, I don't know, whack it with something else, and then they brought him the hammer. I don't know.
I thought you were thinking he was hitting it with his hand or something.
Well, I mean, slap it.
Oh, Lord. Thankfully, JR did not have to hit the bell with his hand much longer. They brought him a hammer. And we get our next match. I'm just like picturing that. Like JR reaching off camera with his right hand and hitting the bell.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. So Hacksaw Butch Reed versus Alabama Junior Heavyweight Champion Mike Jackson in a non-title match. And
Yes.
I don't know
Yes,
what
Butch
your
Reed.
thoughts.
Butch Reed is above the weight limit for the Alabama Junior Heavyweight title. Now, they don't like numbers in Alabama, so the weight limit is just skinny.
And Mike Jackson does qualify as skinny.
Yeah. Probably a good thing the title went on the line, because Mike Jackson got his ass whooped here.
Indeed. I'll be honest, though, I don't think I appreciate this match maybe as much as you did. And maybe this match wasn't really that long, but it felt like it went on forever. And I wrote after about 3 hours and 9 minutes, Sonny King snuck out and hit Butch with a chair for the disqualification.
They only went 3.5 minutes, but it was just an ass whooping.
Yes.
Then
Mike Jackson could not lose to Butch Reed.
Yeah, you misunderstood the finish here, though. Hold on. Sonny King appeared, and he hit Reed with a chair and put Jackson on top and counted the pin. Now, Roddy West was so excited that he rang the bell before the fall was even counted, but that's just because he's such a big Mike Jackson fan.
Well, as they were nice enough to point out, that did not count, and that Butch Reed is your winner by disqualification.
Look, you got to let me have something. You got to let me have my fucking pin.
You did have a pin. Buddy Landell pinned Steve Brinson in the last match. Where the hell were you?
We've had one pin, yes, but what about second pin?
That is not important. What do you mean? You want a wrestling? You want a wrestling show with 2 pins in an entire hour? What about that episode of TNA that time with Kurt Angle, Rhino, and I think it was Christian in the 3-way that went the whole hour? They only had 1 pin in that match.
I do not remember this at all.
That's because it's like they tried to do the Ric Flair Barry Windham show, but with Vince Russo booking. So it was like at least I think it was like 15 people did run-ins on that match. And like I think it began with Samoa Joe attacking Kurt Angle and dragging him to the back.
Wow.
I just remember Rhino was in the match. Rhino was in the match because somebody had to get pinned at the end. And like Angle was the champion.
Maybe Vince Russo had just watched The Night the Line Was Crossed.
He was
inspired.
Something tells me, that except for all the run-ins and because again, it's a 1-hour show and the match went 45 minutes, which tells you that either the impact zone is about 3 miles long or there was a lot of pre-match shenanigans.
Shenanigans, yeah.
Yes. So Sonny put Mike Jackson on top of Butch Reed and counted the pin. I wrote Sonny put Butch on top and counted the pin, which would be a really weird way to do things.
By the way,
I hate you, Butch Reed.
For more on the night the line was crossed. For more on the night the line was crossed and a very disorganized and unstructured 3-way match, tune into the Oh My God cast this weekend.
Oh My God cast. So we're going to take a break here in the middle of this to discuss something, and I meant to bring this up, but Trey finally saw the moment on ECW I've been waiting for weeks for him to see.
Oh God!
There was a commercial in like an episode, and spoiler alert, they're going to play it again like next week. There is a commercial in the middle of ECW. I think it's for the ECW, like their clothing line, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, merchandise.
Yeah. If you've ever watched these early shows or you ever listened to us talk about it, there are 2 very character people on those early ECW shows. One is the sexiest man on the face of the earth, Jason, who is from Europe, and he asks you if you like his suit. And the other is a backstage interviewer named Matty In The House. And Matty In The House is a very loud, rambunctious person who screams, Oh. Ooh, a lot.
Apparently, yeah.
It can easily get on your nerves.
Uh-huh. Apparently, he was the doorman at the China Club, which was a nightclub that Paul Heyman liked to go to in New York City.
So they had a series of interviews between Matty in the House and Jason over months, where it's like, it's like it's a corny comedy, in my opinion. It was always kind of funny to see those two together. Well, one random week on ECW, they had a commercial with these two children, who I assume are Maddie's children. I don't know this for a fact, but my guess is they were Maddie's children. And at first, I did not pick up what they were doing, but it became very clear that they were doing an impression of Maddie interviewing Jason. And it was the funniest, most adorable thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I was marking out for it so much that I could not wait for Trey to see it because I'm like, oh my God, Trey's going to love this. Like, this is just so fucking awesome. And then, Trey, you finally saw it, and I had to tell you what I was talking about because somehow you did not realize what I was talking about when you saw it. What was your reaction to the children doing an impression of Matty in the House interviewing Jason?
OhMyGodcast.com, show that dropped today. We will talk about it.
Today meaning tomorrow or today meaning today?
Today meaning the day that this show drops.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
I hate you.
Oh, Lord. How did you not love that? That thing was fucking great.
Because I fucking hate both of them. Jesus.
But parody
Maddie's kind
is
of grown
funny.
on me.
What was
like
that?
Maddie's kind of grown on me. And Jason seems like the kind of people who grows on people, but like in a fungal way.
You need some medication when you're around Jason.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Poor Jason Knight. Well, I was gonna spoil something in the future, but I won't spoil it for you there.
I love that I love that Lance Storm would specify, no, Jason was not my manager. He was just Incredible's manager. Don Marie was my manager.
Together, we were the Impact players. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. So then we get the PYT. So back to Mid-South. The PYT Express versus Bulldog Bob Brown and Dale Veasey. So yes, they're called the PYT Express, meaning for those who know what the PYT stands for, they're the Pretty Young Things Express. That is a very clunky phrase.
That's just bad. Like, it's the PYTs. It's a good name. The Pretty Young Things.
Yeah.
They are artificially trying to create another unnecessary express.
I don't think it's even them because didn't they have it on their tights? Coco and Norvell had PYT Express on their tights.
Did they?
And like, I thought I saw it.
I don't remember.
Apparently, by the way, during the commercial break, Buddy Landell came out and helped Butch Reed to the back, and Bill Watts found that so funny that he wished they would have taped it. Okay.
Well, Bill,
whatever.
Tell him to keep the fucking camera on. You own it.
Tell Paul White to keep the cameras rolling. And Oral Link. Where's director Oral Link to keep the cameras on?
I think Paul White would hold it way too high.
You would think so. Maybe he's the person that films it like when they're doing the interviews against the ring apron.
Yeah.
And it's always like 2 feet above their heads. Yeah.
Yeah.
At one point, Norvell held, I think, Bulldog Bob Brown for Coco, and Coco just calmly stepped between the ropes. So Coco, babyface through and through here, he does not cheat or bend the rules at all. Then, because we cannot have a second pinfall on this show, the Midnight Express ran in with belts for the disqualification. I wrote, what the hell is going on this week? 4 matches in, and the only person to actually win is Budrow. And eventually, the Pretty Young Things got the straps and sent everyone running for cover.
The funniest thing about this was that when the fucking Midnights hit the ring, Veasey and Brown just kind of stood there awkwardly for a second, and then they decided to help. And then the PYTs got the straps and whooped their asses too. So yeah, you should have fucking left, dorks.
Yes. And I think if I were the Midnight Express, I'd blame Dale Veasey and Bulldog Bob Brown because, I think they would have done just fine without them.
Well, there was a point that I actually thought that Veasey and Brown started fighting with Dennis and Bobby, but no, they were just in the way, and fucking Bobby and Dennis had to move awkwardly to get around them.
Well, it could have been. Remember that NXT season 2, which they tried to do the Nexus beatdown at the end of when Low Key won, and it led to a moment where Alex Riley gave Percy Watson a Michinoku driver, and then seconds later Percy Watson was back up slapping high five with Alex Riley.
What the fuck?
Do you remember that?
I believe you. I don't remember that, but I believe you.
It was just a clusterfuck of all clusterfucks. So it was and again, apparently it was one of those things that they didn't bother to tell anybody what was going to happen. So it's like the eliminated rookies all attack Low Key while the WWE pros are up on the stage and are like, should we do something here? Because it looks really awkward for us to be standing up here. So MVP especially ran down and gave somebody the Yakuza kick in the corner, and they no-sold it.
I'm sure that there's an earlier example, but when I think about it, the fucking Nexus angle, like the original Nexus beatdown, sticks out in my mind as the first really big thing that I thought was a big promising angle that they completely shit the bed on the follow through on.
Oh yeah. That thing got pretty fucked up almost immediately. And it's by SummerSlam, it wasn't even surprising to me that they lost. A little bit, but not super surprising.
Yeah. Bad deal.
Yep. And what else was I gonna say? I don't even remember what the hell else was. Oh yeah, I was just watching oh my God, I think it was the very next week. There was an angle where they had attacked a bunch of guys in the ring, and then they were running out of the arena, and Mark Henry was supposed to be chasing after them, but Mark Henry got his cue way too early and began running out of the building. And while he's running out of the building, the Nexus run right by him out the door.
That's like WCW-esque.
Speaking of WCW-esque, and man, we're just avoiding talking about this show as much as we can. Last night on TNA, the Slammiversary pay-per-view, there was a backstage scene with the Elegances and Iceman, the the personal concierge for Ash and Heather by Elegance, and it was live, but the production guy fucked up their cue, and they're just standing around talking to each other, and you can hear the production guy going, "Okay, in 5, 4, 3, 2," and they went "Holy fuck, live TV."
Wait, Iceman King Parsons is the Elegance's concierge?
No, George Iceman is so much better at that role than I think Iceman Parsons would have been. Mostly because if Iceman Parsons was on TNA, I expect him to be doing something more than being the personal valet for Ash and Heather by Elegance.
I liked when Tennille Dashwood was there and she had Caleb Connolly as Kaleb with a K.
Yes, it's Kaleb with a K.
Remember when he wrestled Minoru Suzuki?
Did he?
Yeah, it was when Suzuki came in to do he did a couple of week program to wrestle Josh Alexander, and they did a squash match where he murdered Kaleb with a K.
I remember that now that you mention it. Poor Caleb Connolly. But I know Dana Brooke is obviously not the most polished wrestler of all time, but I said this the group with her and Personal Concierge, they are a great fucking team together. Like they
Okay, so
really
she's
work
Ash.
well.
She's Ash
She's
by
Ash,
Elegance. Who is the other one?
yes. Heather by Elegance, it's the former Heather Reckless. I
Okay, I
can't
know
say
the
she's
name.
new
I
to the
don't think.
group, but she's like new-ish to the group. And
Yeah.
then whatchamacallit, Personal Concierge, he was like the backup ring announcer. His name's George Iceman, and like he would occasionally do stuff on BTI and other things like that. But this was his first character role, for lack of a better word, and they're just fucking great at it.
Awesome. Good for them.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Um, so by the way, this is all these constant interruptions I'm doing is making it seem less of a insanity of this Mid-South show. Krusher Kruschev versus Sonny King. I wrote my prediction. Sonny wins by DQ and Butch Reed runs in. Um, did you notice when Krusher had a wrist lock on the goofy fucking face that Sonny King made? Like he got all ugh, and like gritted his teeth together for the camera
Look,
and I like to think Krusher Khrushchev was so offended by this that he laid in a forearm and slapped that wrist lock back on and told him to stop doing that.
based on the standard set by Sonny King matches, this wasn't bad.
Not at all. But then we get the finish where Khrushchev missed a middle rope elbow, so Sonny made his comeback when Butch Reed ran in for the disqualification. Or as I wrote,
And this was the point.
What the fuck?
This was the point where I noted 4 DQs in 5 matches so far. So just put a pin in that. During this match, Watts on commentary was toying with the idea of booking heels against each other. I would think Watts would be logical enough to realize that if you never book baby faces against baby faces or heels against heels, like that in itself exposes the business.
Mm-hmm. It's like there's so much shit that exposed wrestling back in the day that like now it's like, oh man, we protected the business back in our day. It's like, okay, well then give us a shoot reason why like Hulk Hogan never gave Andre the Giant a title match until Andre turned heel.
I am so glad that I've actually done the work of going back and watching Mid-South, because Mid-South has this sterling reputation of being the archetype of a sports-like presentation of pro wrestling. And I remember I started watching, like, a couple of years ago, I watched some of the 81 and into 82 stuff, and within, like, the third or fourth show, they had somebody that wasn't in the match getting pinned in the match.
Oh yeah, that's like one of the first couple episodes. I think Bob
Mm-hmm.
Orton on his way out, Bob Orton was like doing a job to everybody, including a match he wasn't even in.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Oh Lord. Um, so Reed went to hit King with the chair, but Sonny King bent over, so Reed hit Khrushchev because Khrushchev was trying to hold Sonny King. Sonny King ended up with the chair again, and Reed ran off after a diving headbutt to the chin. I guess would that be a diving chin butt?
Yeah, well, a diving chin. I don't think anybody's done that. I don't know how to conjugate it.
No. All right. Up next, we were scheduled to have the North American Heavyweight Champion Magnum TA versus Big Ernie Ladd. And I wrote, listen here, television announcer. If someone interferes here and this match ends in a disqualification, I will call Bill Dundee a bum. Now, earlier in the show, when we kind of blew over this, but Bill Watts informed us that Ernie Ladd was asking matchmaker Grizzly Smith for his match to go first because he wanted to have enough time to have his North American title match against Magnum TA. Well, as you might notice, he did not go first. We've had 5 other matches happen since now. And so Ernie Ladd is quite upset. And let's go to Bill Watts and JR with an update about this upcoming title match.
Well, Jim, We've just received word from Grizzly Smith. And I think I've seen it all today, because you can see Magnum TA is ready. 2 weeks ago, Ernie Ladd slapped him. He's been derogatory, been accusing him. And Ernie Ladd has stated that there's not enough time. He wanted the match, the first match on the card, but he says he needs the time. He doesn't want Magnum TA to escape by the time. And Ernie Ladd has gotten dressed and is refusing to wrestle. And Grizzly said, I'll tell you what, he said, everybody liked last week's special on Magnum TA. Play it again. And if Ernie Ladd's not in the ring by that time, he's going back to the ring, and it's going to be a forfeit and going as a victory for the title for Magnum TA. So right now, we'll listen to Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf with Magnum TA, and we'll see if Mr. Ladd is going to come to the ring or forfeit this match.
Okay. So Ernie Ladd is so disgusted by his request to go first being ignored that he has decided that he will not wrestle this week. And apparently, go ahead.
I think Ernie Ladd is completely justified here. You're only going to give him 10 minutes on TV to try to win the title? That's going to be the worst thing Grizzly Smith has ever done to anyone.
Especially this week. So we decided that we still had 3 minutes to kill and decided to give Ernie Ladd a few extra minutes to change his mind. So we gave us the replay of last week's music video for Magnum TA. Good music video, good song, but
at least it wasn't. Yeah. At least it was that one and not the other one.
Yes, it was not. I did it my way. So I'll cut to the point here. Magnum TA wins by forfeit. Or as I've now written down in my notes, what the flying fuck is going on this week?
Oh shit, you're right. I need to make an adjustment here.
Yes. So let's go back to the ring now, where Boyd Pierce and a very angry North American heavyweight champion, Magnum TA, are going to address the situation.
Well, wrestling fans, enough time has passed and been allotted. Ernie Ladd is not in the ring. No other decision to make except that Magnum TA is the North American heavyweight champion, winning on a forfeit.
I'm going to take this match. This is my time slot. Don't worry about the mule. Pack the wagon and get that look off your face before I knock it off.
Just 1 minute. This is a North American heavyweight title match signed by Magnum TA against Ernie Ladd.
Don't worry about Ernie Ladd. You better worry about Landell.
You have no authority to sanction a match. Magnum TA has no authority to sanction a match, and I have no authority to sanction a match.
Forget the belt. I beat Sonny King, the Junkyard Dog, on TV, and this is just another geek, as far as I'm concerned, hiding behind that belt. You're a paper champion. Take it off. I'll go for you right now.
This is a non-title match if they wrestle. Non-title.
So who the hell gave Boyd Pierce the authority to say that he didn't have the authority to make a title match?
He did that on his own authority.
Apparently. I gotta say, I always love when Boyd gets all pissy and like, if you have a problem, you take this up with matchmaker Grizzly Smith. We haven't seen that in a while, so it was nice to get a little bit of a return to that. So yes, Magnum TA, the North American champion, in a non-title match against Buddy Landell. And when Buddy came back to the territory, a few months ago, I don't know if you were questioning my love for Buddy Landell, but you definitely weren't as much of a fan of Buddy as I am. Are you starting to come around on Budrow?
I had just never really seen him that much. Like I had seen him a few times, but I'd never seen him on a week-to-week basis. So yeah, I like Buddy.
Buddy is great. And here's what I wrote about Magnum TA versus Buddy Landell. I swear to God, if this match doesn't have a finish, ... Ernie Ladd came out with a comically large briefcase and KO'd TA with it for the disqualification. I'd heard stories that Cornette used to tell about wrestlers. They would get their finish and disagree with it. So they would walk out in front of the crowd to show everybody that they were there so the promoter couldn't lie and say that they no-showed and then walked out the front door. I'm like, oh my God, Ernie Ladd is walking out to show everybody that he didn't no-show the show. And then he just walloped TA with his comically large briefcase.
I don't understand. He knocked him out. Why didn't he cash it in? Perfect opportunity. Is he stupid? Is he a bum seeker?
He might be a bum. And I think the bigger question is not just why didn't he cash in his briefcase? When did he get this briefcase? Was there a Money in the Bank ladder match at the last Superdome show we're unaware of?
Well, yeah, it's in New Orleans, right?
Yeah. Maybe, though, because it hadn't been rescheduled yet, maybe it was in Tulsa or Oak City. Or maybe Paul Bosch booked it in Houston. Although I'm pretty sure had you hung this briefcase above the arena, that rope would have snapped. Possibly yanking down the roof of the arena.
Now. Yeah.
Well, now, but this is 1984. Yeah. All right. So Magnum TA versus Buddy Landell. Buddy Landell attempts to become the ultimate winner of the show, but still, no finish in this match either, or no decisive finish in this match either. But for what it was, it was a fun little, 3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right. So now that we've gone through all of the scheduled matches on the show, we go to our first standby match. The Fantastics versus Hans Schroeder and Pat Rose. Now, after everything else we've seen on this show, I wrote, I have never wanted a match to go to the expiration of time so much in my life. And as I wrote that, Bill said that we had less than a minute left in the show. And I'm like, oh my God, they're doing it. And then, oh my God, they went to the expiration of time. However, I don't think they were supposed to, because I think Pat Rose fucked up the finish. So the finish was Tommy Rogers went for a roll-up, and Pat Rose somehow fell on his stomach and could not roll over, at least in a believable way, to not expose the business. And so the show just ended. The show ended. The Fantastics were unable to defeat Hans Schroeder and Pat Rose before the expiration of time. Holy fuck.
Yeah, you're probably right. Because, anytime that they've done the expiration of time, they rang the bell and said it was a draw. They didn't just go off the fucking air with people wrestling.
Now, there was a ruling 6 months ago that lasted for 1 week. I don't know if you remember this, where they announced if we do reach the expiration of time, the match will continue just after the cameras are turned off, so we don't, take it away from the fans who want to watch a match.
So we're going to get to see the finish of this match next week, presumably.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it will open next week's show. No doubt in my mind. Much like how Van Walen was one of the most popular country western musicians of all time on Family Feud, I have no doubt in my mind that the finish of this match will air next week.
I believe you. I trust you.
Yes. All right. So that was the end of Mid-South Wrestling. And it is now time for the finishes report on this week's episode of Mid-South Wrestling. The finishes on this week's show are DQ due to a run-in, clean pinfall, DQ due to a run-in, DQ due to a run-in, DQ due to a run-in, forfeit, DQ due to a run-in, expiration of time, time limit draw. And thus leading to the name of this week's episode, DQ due to a run-in.
Yeah. So let me think here. 5
either
disqualifications, 2 non-finishes. Okay, 5 disqualifications, a forfeit, a nothing, and a pin in 7 matches. And if you think that math doesn't math, go and count again.
It's 8 matches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 8.
Oh, you're right.
DQ.
Okay.
Yeah,
you're right. Hold on, I fucked it up.
5 DQs, a clean pinfall, a forfeit, and an expiration of time limit draw. When did Vince Russo take over 84 Mid-South?
Bro.
The problem is, bro, there would be too much wrestling on this match, bro, on this show, bro. Okay.
God, he would fucking hate World Class.
Well, I think we finally have something to agree on with Vince Russo, bro. If there's ever a reason to not have too much wrestling on a wrestling show, bro. But tell me, what other... I don't even know where this came from. But, like, remember, like, 6, 7, 8, maybe even a year ago at this point, there was, like, a random commercial at the beginning of Mid-South with Boyd Pierce previewing that week's show. There was a random commercial at the beginning of this week's World Class that was put up by the WWE Network, so it's not like, oh, we found a great torrented copy of this. Put up by the WWE Network, a commercial. And let's set the scene before we play this commercial. We are in a hospital with Bill Mercer, Kevin Von Erich, and Chic Donovan. Why are these 3 people in the hospital together, you might ask?
I completely forgot. I forgot about the Chic Donovan thing and was really fucking confused.
Yes, before you ask, no, we didn't have someone else from the family doing the Von Erich thing. Not yet, anyway. Instead, apparently, Chic Donovan really got hurt last week, and we'll really get into that here in a minute. But first, let's play the commercial that aired before the World Class / Stephen P. New theme song.
Hello, I'm Bill Mercer. Join me this week on World Class Championship Wrestling as we visit Chic Donovan in the hospital, where he's recuperating from the injuries suffered at the hands of the Oriental assassin Killer Khan. Also this week, the modern-day warrior Kerry Von Erich squares off against that notorious headbanger, the Missing Link. Watch all the action this week on the world's greatest wrestling show, World Class Championship Wrestling.
Now, do you think Chic Donovan was thrilled about his post-surgery hospital visit being used as a commercial fodder?
Oh, well, if they paid him for it. Well, it's Fritz. He probably didn't pay him for it.
True. My theory is WWE included this because it was so preposterous. And we'll get to this. Apparently, and I don't know if it really happened. I mean, I assume it did because he didn't wrestle again for the next 5 months. But apparently he really got injured in this Killer Khan match, or he went and wrestled on a few tours of Africa that just haven't showed up on Cage Match, because Chic Donovan doesn't wrestle again until November.
Maybe he really messed up his knee. Maybe he already fucked up his knee and the thing last week was an angle to cover it.
There you go. I mean, it's possible. We've been wondering where the hell Chic Donovan had been, because he was, a regular TV jobber, which .com Lex Luger was. Then all of a sudden he hadn't been on for a few weeks. Much like Bryan Adias. Where the fuck is Bryan Adias at? He is the TV champion the last time we checked. The last time Mid-South told us, the World Class TV champion was Bryan Adias.
Yeah.
Now, let's go to the proper intro with Bill Mercer.
Welcome to World Class Championship Wrestling from the world-famed Sportatorium in downtown Dallas, Texas. And we've got a spectacular card for you, spectacular main event. And that main event features the former World Heavyweight Champion, the modern-day warrior, Kerry Von Erich, against the strange man from somewhere who is missing, the Missing Link. And that is our main event, that Missing Link and Kerry Von Erich. Plus, we've got Iceman King Parsons and Gino Hernandez battling. And next, coming up on World Class Championship Wrestling, a casualty report of Killer Khan. That's right now after this message on World Class Championship Wrestling.
No one told Bill Mercer that we already had the title for this week's episode because he's just trying to push Spectacular in there as much as he could. Maybe I should throw Mercer a bone and call it a Spectacular run-in for the DQ.
A spectacularly unnecessary Express DQ.
Oh, Lord. So today's main event, a spectacular main event. Kerry Von Erich versus Max, the strange man from somewhere who is missing. Okay, then. I think Mercer's like tapping out on this show already, too. Yeah. But yeah, plus I got excited for some reason because we get told that we're gonna have a casualty report from Killer Khan. I wanted Killer Khan to be sitting behind the announce desk and explaining in Killer Khan-ese, what the injuries were in World Class. Unfortunately, that's not what happened.
If only.
Yes. Instead, Bill Mercer just showed replays of the Killer Khan Kevin Von Erich feud, which was I don't know why I watched it. I don't know why, but it ended up being a quality thing to watch because they replayed Khan yeeting David Manning Von Erich. And you may not have noticed this the first time because I didn't. David Manning Von Erich wears pink panties. They were sneaking up underneath.
That's his own
britches.
business.
Yes. Well, we're reporters. We're not paid to report on the news.
Indeed.
But yeah. So did you watch this or did you just fast forward through it?
I fast forwarded.
Okay. Well, you could fast forward it right to 7:24 because that's when we go to the hospital with Chic Donovan for the longest promo segment of all time to ever feature Chic Donovan. I guarantee no matter how long we watch this show for, there will never be a promo segment that lasts 3.5 minutes where Chic Donovan is somehow involved in it. But with that said, let's go to the first, last, and only promo to feature Chic Donovan that goes 3.5 minutes.
Visiting Chic Donovan here in the Veterans Hospital after Chic has undergone surgery on his left knee. You saw the confrontation with Killer Khan, the point that he injured that knee, and you saw the battle with Kevin Von Erich and Killer Khan. Kevin and I are here today. Chic, good to see you, and sorry to see you in the hospital, but you're looking well. What did the doctor do to your knee?
I just like to say I thank all the people for dropping in today and just being with me because I miss being out there with you. But the doctor just did extensive repair to the knee, and he put a screw through the left side and bolted it down to the right side, which would be in for the rest of my life. And it's just pretty painful right now, but I think it's getting a little bit better.
What's the prognosis on your return to the ring?
Well, he said it's 6 months to a year, but Bill, we're champions, we're professional athletes, and sometimes we have more determination than the normal individual. So I'm working it real hard. I'm gonna work extremely hard because I've got a goal in mind to get back. So I'll be there. It's hard to say how long, but I'll be there as soon as I can.
Kevin, it would appear that Killer Khan is not just interested in winning bouts, but interested in hurting people deliberately.
Bill, that's hitting the nail right on the head. He deliberately put that spike to me until blood came out of my mouth. Chic Donovan here, we all saw what happened. It was deliberately. He deliberately tried to hurt Chic. Here Chic is laying in bed now. He's got a wife, family to support. Something's got to be done, and I guarantee you something is being done. The people think when I go to the ring I'm a madman, I'm going crazy. Well, there's good reason for it. It's not just this. The guy thinks he can run roughshod over everything in this area. No way. Not against me and not against Chic Donovan, not against any Von Erich. Next time I get a chance with Killer Khan, Chic, I guarantee you I'm going to give it all I got.
Okay, but Bill, like I said, he tried to put Kevin out of wrestling. He injured me to the point where I'm laid in the hospital for no telling how long right now. Something's got to be done to Killer Khan. He kind of reminds me of the old redwood tree that stands strong and tall, but if you chip away long enough and hard enough at the base of that tree, it's going to fall. I know Kevin has got enough determination because he is a champion, has enough determination about him to just to chop that tree right down and take care of that con.
Chick, I guarantee you I will do it.
What can you do, really, to get this guy? What is the sort of the process? He's huge. He's tough.
Like Chip said, you can chip away at him and chip away, but I look at it another way. When the minute that bell rings, I'm coming with full head stern. I mean, I'm going at him with all I got, just like I've been doing. They're talking about pulling my license away and not letting me wrestle anymore. They're going to have to do that because that's the only thing that's going to keep me off Killer Khan. I guarantee you, I'm going to get rid of him.
Well, thank you, Bill. I appreciate all you fans, and thank you, Kevin, very much for coming out.
Better,
and
good to see you,
thank
Chick.
you, Bill.
You take care of
Appreciate it very
yourself.
much.
Kevin Von Erich and I visiting Chic Donovan here in the Veterans Hospital as Chick recovers from knee surgery after that deliberate attack by Killer Khan. And we'll be back with more world-class championship wrestling in just a moment.
You know, it's kind of amazing that they gave us essentially a 3.5-minute Chic Donovan promo, even though it was much more of a Kevin Von Erich promo, but still, I mean, I guess taking advantage of the circumstances at the very least, because now, I mean, obviously, because, you know, Killer Khan's with Terry Gordy, so we're still going to get Freebirds versus Von Erichs, but at least it gives us something of a strong angle now to split Von Erich away from the Freebirds, at least for a little bit. And I mean, they'd already been feuding, but this way now it's like, hey, look, now I'm getting revenge for my friend Chic Donovan, somebody who I've never been on TV with before. But hey, we're both baby faces. That makes us friends in 1980s pro wrestling parlance.
You want to talk about unexpected? When Killer Khan showed up, I did not expect him to become the highlight of the show.
Especially since he didn't realize it was Killer Khan at first.
I didn't. I'm so sorry, Killer Khan. I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I forget too.
Okay.
But
I guess I didn't realize he was this young. Okay, what year does he do the run with Hogan? 86?
I think 87.
87. Okay. He retired young because he took the Hogan money and went to Japan and opened his restaurant. So yeah, he didn't wrestle for very long, did he?
Although to be honest, like when I first went back and watched the Hogan Killer Khan run, I was like, man, Killer Khan is old, because all I really knew of Killer Khan at that point was he's the guy that broke Andre's leg when Andre got out of the bed wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't actually know how old he was. When he first showed up, he looked really, and he still looks young. His skin is very smooth. He is not hairy. He looks like a very young man. I don't know how old he was.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, in a, well, not really similar way, but like, you know, someone like Sting, you know, even though you knew he was older, like he looked young for all those years because he was wearing face paint that whole time.
Okay. Killer Khan.
Actually, 37 years old.
Killer Khan. Yeah, Killer Khan in 1984 was the same age that I am now. Oh, I forgot he died. He died in 2023.
So are you about to go for a run against the Von Erichs? Maybe saving up for a fight with Hogan?
I think I could take Marshall.
Maybe Ross, if you're lucky. So we do have some legitimate news here, some sad news to report. One of the more famous pro wrestling fans, just for his look, if not his name, because I mean, I didn't know his name until just now, has passed away. Eric Service, who's better known as that fan who you always saw in the front row at WWF and WCW shows, who had an uncanny resemblance to Hulk Hogan. Like with the Fu Manchu mustache and all that shit. The guy that looked like Hulk Hogan would be in the front row of the shows. He has passed away. The Cauliflower Alley Club confirmed this news today, July 21st. And this from ringsidenews.com.
Oh. Also, did you see Malcolm Jamal Warner passed away? The Theo Huxtable.
He passed away today too. Notice I didn't mention him, but I mentioned the guy dressed like Hulk Hogan on, on shows for years.
Mm.
So, yeah, much love and sympathy to the friends, family, and loved ones of those two men.
Yeah, good brothers.
Yes. Um, to change that completely, we then, thanks to the Buck Zoom Hoff rule, got to fast forward about 15 minutes because for some reason he was booked to go 15 minutes this week.
That was between the which I actually did watch the Killer Khan Casualty Report, but if you skipped it because it was all like replays, there was a lot of this shit you could skip through.
Yes. That was half the show because that took us to 21:32. And I tuned in, and if anything happened right before this, I missed it. Sorry, not sorry. They announced that next week would be Kevin Chris versus Gordy Khan. I imagine that's a tag match and not a weird new singles wrestler wrestling another weird new singles wrestler.
What, Chris Adams?
Yes, Kevin Von Erich and Chris Adams versus Terry Gordy and Killer Khan.
My brain went to Chris Von Erich and I was confused.
Then we get your champion, Gino Hernandez, versus Iceman Parsons. And at the beginning of this match, they announced that General Skandor Akbar has apparently been making negotiations to get a tag team partner for a match. And that partner will shock the wrestling world. And I mean, I didn't realize the Shockmaster was in this early.
Maybe it's Shocker, the Mexican wrestler.
The one with the mask at McDonald's. So Dusty Rhodes tried to make him like the TNA, well, not the TNA champion, but TNA X Division champion.
Yeah, that one.
I
what the fuck happened to? Okay, what I know that they got unmasked, but aren't the Irwins still like legally the American Tag Team Champions?
Legally, yes, I believe they are legally still the American Tag Team Champions, unless our favorite pedophile won them, and we've just been skipping all of his matches, so we don't actually know this.
Maybe.
I like that we get to use the phrase "our favorite pedophile."
Yeah.
We're not going to hell, ladies and gentlemen. If there is a heaven or a hell, and we go to it, it's not because we referred to Buck Zumhoff as our favorite pedophile.
No, but Buck Zumhoff will go to hell because he's a pedophile.
Yes. And I'm not even going to argue the semantics of it, but if he wasn't going to hell just for being a pedophile, it's everything on top of that.
And Grizzly Smith is down there keeping the fire warm.
Yes. He's probably throwing another log on the fire as we speak.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our first real match, at least that we watched on this show, and I was waiting for someone to run in for the disqualification. Instead, we had a fine little grappling match. They did screw up the finish. Gino was supposed to roll through and put his feet on the ropes, but they were too close to the ropes. So if that was part of the match design, what are they going to do now? Improvise? And improvise they did as Gino rolled through a sunset flip and grabbed the tights for the win.
That was weird because the angle, it looked like he was pulling the tights up.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out how pulling the tights really affects your ability to kick out. Like, man, yeah, I'm so put off. I'm so put off by this wedgie you're giving me. I can't lift my shoulder off the mat.
Okay, as far as the match, they played the Iceman strings. Gino mostly sold for him, and when Gino was on offense, he kept it mat-based. That was to everyone's benefit. So, it wasn't bad. And this is the problem with everything on the show. Way the fuck too long. I don't need to watch fucking Iceman wrestle anybody for 12 and a half minutes.
Do we need a longer Buck Zumhoff opener, you think?
Well, yeah, because then we could fast forward through more of the show.
Exactly. I could see like the wheels turning in your head. Like, why are you asking for more Buck Zumhoff? Like, so we can fast forward the show. But let's get Buck Zumhoff versus Ric Flair in a 60-minute draw in the show.
There we go.
That would be like the worst thing ever. Plus, wouldn't there be part of you that, like, if Ric Flair is wrestling Buck Zumhoff to a 60-minute draw, there'd be part of you like, I kind of want to watch that. You know?
Yeah.
All right. So, we get our main event, which is the modern day warrior and former world champion Kerry Von Erich versus Headbanger Max with General Skandor Akbar. And Trae didn't pop for that. I got to tell you, I'm a little disappointed on that one. I've been waiting the entire episode to say that after the commercial where, Mercer calls him a true headbanger.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't hear what you said.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in search of a new co-host.
Damn, Cindy really getting under your skin, didn't she?
I know, right? I might have to have her do Smoky Mountain this week as punishment to you. So Kerry had the match won with a discus punch when Akbar grabbed his hair for the disqualification. I gotta say, of all the ways we've seen the Von Erichs get out of and having their match ended by DQ and have them come out and win, I was not expecting a simple hair pull to do the trick this week.
Well, there you go. It's awful easy to get disqualified this week.
Yes, it is. Somehow, Gino Hernandez and Buddy Landell managed to avoid it. I guess Buddy only managed it once. You know, he pressed his luck, and he got a whammy the second time. So after the match, Max gave himself CTE. Anything else you want to say about this match?
No. I was suddenly grateful that Gino versus Iceman was as long as it was, because if it hadn't been, this would have gotten more time.
Yes, it would have. Yes, it would have. But I mean, this was, I don't even know. It's like every time I want to say, let's not do World Class anymore, then we get like a 5-minute Gino Hernandez promo, and Gino is just fucking tremendous. So keep putting Gino on TV and we'll keep watching your show 41 years later. Yeah. And they ended the show by giving us the address to buy a book about David Von Erich. Trae, did you go and buy the book about David Von Erich?
I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see what happens when I put in the order.
Send your money to that church, huh? All right. So yeah, that was the World Class review. It's always funny. It takes us an hour and a half usually to do Mid-South because we go off in 85 directions, and it takes us about 37 seconds to do World Class.
Yeah, typical.
Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna do it. We're only 90 minutes in. Anything else you want to talk about this week? Yeah.
What else is there this week?
We could talk about Fred Ottman, who could not be coming in because he doesn't debut until February of '85.
Big Bubba.
Siegfried the Giant, apparently.
Oh, that's quite a name.
Yes. And then he becomes Big Bubba for Texas All-Star Wrestling and Continental. And then Memphis. And it's not until he goes to Florida that he becomes Big Steel Man, managed by Diamond Dallas Page, of all people.
Wow.
Yes. Alrighty. Let's see. Anything pressing right? Apparently Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out this Friday on Netflix.
Sorry?
Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out this Friday on Netflix. I assume Trey's very disappointed in that, so that's why he has nothing to say about it.
Yeah, very disappointed that I didn't hear a word of that. Sorry, you just sometimes you just cut out for like 30 seconds and I don't know what you're saying.
That happens every so often at the beginning of the show when I ask you if you're ready to go and you claim you say yes, and then I'm just waiting because I haven't heard you say yes. And then I say it again. You're like, I said yes, or whatever. And that, in case you're wondering why that ever happens. By the way, since we both actually watched Dynamite last week, any thoughts on the Young Bucks' new Titantron?
That was fucking tremendous. Great stuff.
I don't know when Orange Cassidy got put in charge of production, but good for him.
Well, we got new EVPs and they're making new hires.
Yeah. And I mean, I can tell you, AEW, if you have a skill for something more than your primary gig, they will give you more responsibility if you want it. So it's very possible Orange Cassidy now works in the production side too. Speaking of Orange, where the hell is he?
Injured.
No.
I don't remember what the exact injury was, but he's been injured. Yeah.
I was gonna say, it's like it suddenly occurred to me he was not on Y'all In, unless I missed him in the Casino Battle Royale. Or the Casino Gauntlet. Sorry, I called it the wrong thing.
Yeah, he's been out for I don't know if he's been here. Well, he was in like April, I guess was the last time he had been on TV.
Apparently, in April 2025, it was reported that Cassidy suffered a possible torn pectoral, putting him out of action for an undisclosed amount of time, according to the always reliable Wikipedia. And if you can't believe the always reliable Wikipedia, who can you believe?
Indeed.
Apparently, he was himself on a TV show, Floor is Lava, which I assume is a game show or reality show based off the game Floor is Lava, or The Floor is Lava. Which, I don't know, if I can think of anybody who would win at The Floor is Lava, it'd probably be Orange Cassidy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm picturing Orange Cassidy climbing Everest, but doing it very Orange Cassidy-like. And just getting to the top and giving the thumbs up. Somebody's going to be very confused reading or reading my description of the episode when it gets to the point that says Orange Cassidy climbing Mount Everest.
Is it any more than usual?
Probably not. I mean, I can't imagine, because looking at our insanely high viewership, I can't imagine any of these things that I write have inspired anybody to check out these shows.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. All right. So I guess if you can't think of anything else to say and I can't think of anything else to say, we might as well call it a day here.
I guess. Whatever. Yeah. I don't know. We talked enough.
Yeah. So we're not going to do a Friday night spot show this week because I'm spending my Thursday and Friday nights going to TNA, and Wednesday we watch Dynamite and wear pink. Tuesday we record Smoky Mountain. So at some point in the future, WWE Vault has been putting up a bunch of old shit. We're going to go back and do another spot show. Because, apparently when things are too popular, we don't do it too often. And that's how the spot show was getting. It was just getting too popular for us.
Yeah.
All right. But that's going to do it for this week's show. For Trey, I'm Arya. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you again in or around 7 days.
Bye.